I want a motherfucking entrance, BJ.
Well, if you want to do that, then let's have that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Image Elevators with BJ Coleman. As someone who's been in the industry of entertainment and fashion for more than 20 years, I started my career on television at 15 years old. I've had the pleasure of working with a number of personalities and a number of brands and helping them guide their success through marketing, branding, and PR strategies. And so my hope and my intention behind this show is that you listeners will be able to take away key information and leverage the power of your own public image to elevate your public status, to advance your career. So whether you are a college student entering the new world, whether you are a professional trying to make it to the next level, whether you're a public persona navigating the new world of fame, I hope that this show will inspire you to take your public image, build your public brand in such a way that you are living a purposeful existence and a fruitful existence. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce my very, very first guest, who I'm super proud to have. Not only is he an actor, a director, a producer, a singer, he's a triple threat in the industry, but he's also the creator of the show.
Image Elevators with BJ Coleman.
The one and only Jussie Smollett. Who wanted his entrance.
Oh, thank you for being here and supporting us. Thank you, BJ.
You're so crazy. Thank you so much.
Hello. Let's get serious.
Thank you so much, though. Honestly, because I tell them that you created this show because you did create this show. So
I love that you gave me credit for that. I feel so honored.
Well, I just wanted to give them a little background. You know, I've known you for a long time,
Yes.
probably more than 10 years at this point. And
We met during the inauguration of the first presidency of Obama.
yes, in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
at an inauguration party. And we've since hung out and kicked it, and I've seen your career grow. I never hit you up when Empire took off because I didn't want to be someone who was latching on. But as fate would have it, we were brought together recently on your new project, which we're going to talk about. And we reconnected, and we had a really, I think, great lunch. And at that lunch, you said, this should be a podcast. You should have a podcast.
We had such an amazing conversation. That it was like, why everyone should be able to hear this, because it was a very healing conversation in many ways. And being that you've already been the head of Image Elevators for so long, that it makes sense that, well, you should, it's kind of like, I used to love Inside the Actor Studio, and so I feel like this is like Inside the Actor Studio meets Between Two Ferns.
We have so much in common, though, on so many levels, because I love Inside the Actor Studio as well. What's the guy's name? Lipton?
Yeah, James Lipton.
I mean, I still watch TCM all the time.
All the time.
No, we have so much in common. And it's like every time I'm around you, it's like I hear a little bit more about how much more we have in common.
Well, we have all of these inside jokes with each other that we don't know are inside jokes, So maybe we're cousins, Bethany Jean.
He thinks that's what my name BJ stands for. He's so funny.
It is.
Okay, so let's get down to it. We got reconnected because you have a new film, which I've now seen probably about 4 times. Partly because I have to, but I can also say that every time I see it...
You had to add that bitch? What?
No, but every time I see it, I want to see it. So even last night, we had a screening. You had a screening here in Los Angeles. I had to leave early, but I was so tempted to just try to stay just to see it again, because I was telling Vivica Fox, who's the star of the movie, that I think it's one of the best, and Mona Scott, I was telling her as well, who's one of the producers of the film. Mona Scott Young.
The best.
That is really one of the best movies of 2024.
Thank you.
Don't you feel
so
that?
much. I don't know if I should say that. But yes, I do.
I mean, I think it's heartfelt. It's a roller coaster of emotions. The acting is amazing.
Thank you.
The direction is amazing. The storytelling is fantastic. I mean, tell everybody what it's about.
It's called The Lost Holiday. Thank you, BJ. It's called The Lost Holiday, and it is a story about a man who is sadly taken away from his family the day before the holiday season, the U.S. holiday season starts. And his estranged mother, who Vivica plays, The character of Damien is played by Jabari Red, and Vivica plays his estranged mother. She comes to Los Angeles to handle his arrangements and sees that they're already being handled by her son's husband, who she knew nothing about. And I play the son's husband. And so she really learns more about her son through death than she knew about him when he was living. And so it's just a film about, forgiveness and love and grace and all of those things. And, just that it's never too late to make amends. It's never too late to make peace with your past or, in order to move forward. And Vivica just gives such an incredible performance in this that I could watch it a million times. And I actually have seen it about 100,000 times because I was in the edit bay and everything like that. So, but it's a really special film. It's funny, it's sad, it's a tearjerker. It's in the line of, my favorite films growing up of, Soul Food and Still Magnolias and, films that really tugged at the heart and then got their points across about family and love and joy and all of the things in between. So that's The Lost Holiday.
No, you can tell that. And I mean, we talk about the things that we have in common. I call myself a film connoisseur as well. I love old school films. I love, obviously, modern day films. But
yeah, we battle over Betty and Joan.
We do. And we all know Betty Davis is number one, but we won't get into that.
Well, yeah, because Joan Crawford is number one.
Number 3 or 4, maybe.
One.
Interesting.
1 plus or like 1 squared or I don't know.
That's so interesting you say that. But, I mean,
this doesn't take anything away from Betty.
But all I'm saying
is
your
Betty.
love of film is evident in this project.
Thank you.
What was your inspiration in writing it? And how long did it take you? Obviously, I know some of the answers to my questions, but they don't. So.
Well, I think Oprah Winfrey knew most of the answers to her questions, but she still asked them.
Exactly.
So you kids out there, if you got a question and you know the answer to it, ask that shit anyway.
Well, because they don't know.
Just I'm gonna say every time that I do something that's a message, I'm gonna just do like this. What was your question, BJ?
What was your inspiration behind writing the project, and how long did it take you to do it?
Well, it took 8 years to get it off the ground, and I co-wrote it with Jarrell Chesney, who is one of my dearest friends, and it was a really special thing to collaborate on. I had this idea 8 years ago, going on 9 years at this point. And I don't know, I just thought of I really thought about my mother and the fact that, and I tell this story often now that we're on the promo road, so it's like you're telling the same stories, but my mother is a Black woman who married into a non-Black family. And in the 70s, 80s, 90s, that wasn't necessarily so easy to navigate. And the things that she dealt with and, just handled it with such grace. And then more recently, I lost my father almost a decade ago. And after he passed, although they had been separated for some time, I saw my mother, the bond that she's created somehow with his mother, my grandmother. And it was really inspiring. And it felt like during my grief of losing my father and feeling like I had not necessarily made complete peace with him before he had passed, finding a way to make peace with him after. And a part of that was watching my mother and his mother bond. And that somehow made me feel more connected to him. And so that then also going further is really thinking about certain mentors that I've had that are, 55, 65, 70 years old, and the things that they had gone through, particularly in the 80s during the AIDS pandemic, the height of the AIDS pandemic, and being kind of rejected or ejected from their partner's legacies, from their partner's lives, not being able to go into the hospital room because you're not legally married, not being able to see your partner once they are no longer with us because maybe the parents or their family members who are technically in charge of their life, come and now speak. All of those stories of pain and loss and that somehow have become triumphant, historically, really inspired me. So adding that all together and just getting a great story together and going to Vivica and building this and developing it for 8 years and then getting Jarrell on board 3 years ago to help write the script. And he was just one of the most incredible people that I know. It's just been wonderful.
And what was the most difficult thing in making this film? And every time I see it, and I feel like you run into a Q&A, or we separate, or we'll go to a meeting, or we'll go to a dinner, or we go have drinks, and I have so many questions every time I see it, specifically for you, as someone who loves film, and then I never get to ask those questions. So I'm just curious, and I'm sure that in New York, I'm gonna take notes so that whenever I can get your ear again, I'm gonna just have my questions ready. But what was the most difficult thing in making this?
Probably budget. Making indie films is not for the faint at heart. You want to pick that up? Well, you're going to be on a close-up of me right now.
Exactly. Don't worry about me, but I have my glasses, and you're wearing your glasses, and I'm known for my glasses, but I'm not wearing mine. But
I think that you should wear your glasses so that people don't look at this and be like, ew, why is he wearing glasses
they're going
the
to
whole
think,
time?
why are you wearing glasses? But it's okay. They're going to... And this show is about image, so if that's the image that you want to convey...
What did the former president say? Some people look at something, blah, 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 and say, why?
But I look at things as they could be
and say, why not?
Yes.
Something like that, whatever homeboy said.
Yes. That wasn't, actually, it's credited to a president, but it was actually a writer who said it.
That's not JFK?
JFK might have said it, but he's not the originator of it. But anyway,
So he colonized that?
He borrowed it. But let's go back to what the most
That sounds like a colonizer's word for stealing.
What was the most difficult project of making this film? You were saying it's budget. It was
definitely
film.
budget. Yeah, it was budget. But at the same time, we had a really great team. So we figured that stuff out. We figured that out early on, and we had a great line producer and UPM and everything like that. So we were able to figure it out. It's just that you are certainly slightly restricted, and you have to find creative ways to get around your lack of a budget. And having someone like Vivica A. Fox on board certainly helps, because she is, you look at the films that she's done and the projects that she's been a part of and the projects that she has led, they haven't been whack. So you want to be able to be present. You want to be able to do everything that you have to do, but you also want to deliver. You want to deliver for your producers, you want to deliver for your crew, and you want to deliver for this superstar actor who has worked with the best of them, and you want to, I love her, she's a dear friend, but I still want to impress her. I still want to, make sure that she knows that she's in a safe space and that she's respected and that her time is respected. So that was the most anxiety creating of the project. But other than that, I mean, it was such a beautiful project to be a part of, and we shot it in 11 days. Mm-hmm. So we did what we had to do.
No, I thought Vivica's, and it's gonna fall flat when I say this. People are gonna think I'm biased, obviously, but I thought Vivica's performance was stellar. I thought all of the acting was stellar. Aside from the acting, the cinematography, the pace of the film, I loved it all. Another aspect of it that I really enjoyed was the music element, as I've told you, particularly. When Vivica's character is introduced, again, I just love that song. I love the last song at the end.
Yeah.
Without giving anything away, I just think the soundtrack is so engaging. It's toe tapping. It's just a really good soundtrack. How involved were you with that? And I know you also have a new song that's out that's on the soundtrack.
Yeah. Music is so important to me. I'm the executive music producer along with David Michael Ott and Shawan B. Bearded Andrews. And they both work. I've been working with David since before Empire. He produced I Want to Love You, which was in like season 1, and All of the Above, and so many songs that we had recorded prior to me even booking that show. And then, because my album was ready to go, and then we had to pull it because, I booked the role. But we had all of this music, and we just started putting in the show. He wrote, he produced, and I wrote Hemingway, and all of these different songs that were in the show. And then B Bearded, he was my drummer on my first tour, and I just got super close to him, and he produced my song "Thank You God," and then a bunch of other songs on my forthcoming album. But he did the score for B-Boy Blues, and David did a bunch of songs on B-Boy Blues as well. So it just made sense. They just are so wonderful and such good people as well. So we came together, and along with, we have so many great musicians on it. We have Tone Stith and Robin Hood Music is on it, and the great Adiv, who wrote My Mind and plays Chavis in the movie. We just have really, really good Melody Ray. We just have wonderful, wonderful music. And Curtis Williams, above all. Curtis Williams from Kool and the Gang is all over it, just is all over it. And it's really music inspires me in a way that I can't fully explain. I don't know of any project that I've been a part of that didn't have a huge musical element before Empire and after. If you look at The Skinny, even if you look at like On Our Own back in the day, we were always singing on that show with my siblings, and music has always been something that drives me. And when I'm writing, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm angry, when I'm excited, whatever it is, music is the thing that I go to. So music also for my films, the rhythm of it is always very important. And because I started directing in music videos, rhythm is just very important to me. And so a good way for me when I'm editing to do that is to lay down the music, and really the music drives the picture.
I get that. Even on my social media, I understand that, because even from a social media perspective, my music will dictate how I post what I want to post music wise will dictate the story that I want to post.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, like even on the new programs, like the social media apps, and when you're making your reels or whatever, and they have these templates, it could absolutely, based on the music that you use, it absolutely changes the vibe. It absolutely changes like what you might want to, absolutely, music does that.
Yeah. And you've always incorporated music with your art, as you said, from On Our Own to Empire. But before I get into Empire, I want to ask you, before we move away from the Lost Holiday, you've seen it a million times, you've gone to the screeners, you've been with audiences. Are you happy with it? Because I know as a perfectionist, you can always look back and say, oh, I should have done this, I could have changed that,
And listen, don't get me wrong, there's still things that I see that I'm just like, we got to fix that. We got to change that. But at the same time, it is my beautifully flawed little baby. I'm so proud of it. I really am. And, back in the day, I don't think that I would have been so easily able to admit that I was proud of myself. You know what I mean? And to be able to, because I say this often, that we're always told, when you do something wrong, take responsibility. That's what I was raised with, is, be a man, be a woman, be a human being, say it and take responsibility. And that's absolutely factual. You must. But people don't always teach you to also take responsibility when you do something great. To say, yo, like I did that without any sort of being conceited. It's not being self-absorbed. It's not throwing it and using it against anybody else. But it's okay to tap yourself on the back every once in a while and be like, yo, like I did that.
Do you have a favorite of the two feature films that you've created between B-Boy Blues and The Lost Holiday? Could you choose a favorite? And it's fair if you say no.
No, I can't. They are my children, and they have their own personalities. They have their own life. So, and I want them to each live as long as they possibly can, as beautiful of a life as they possibly can, and affect people as much as they possibly can. So I can't, but also you have to keep in mind that they have completely different values and completely different places, in the world for me. So I couldn't. It's like I could choose like my top favorite characters, but I couldn't choose a favorite. character.
Could you choose a favorite project? I mean, your career is so expansive. I mean, from playing Langston Hughes to playing Jamal Lyon to having your show with your family on Our Own to obviously the projects that you've created from, nothing to being huge productions. Do you have a favorite project?
The one I'm about to do.
The Lost Holiday.
The one that I'm about to do.
Oh, that's coming up.
It's like, to me, your favorite thing needs to be the thing that you haven't done yet.
I think I know what this is.
Yes.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Everyone knows you as Jamal Lyon.
Do they? Because my mama knows me as Jussie.
Yes. Well, I mean,
So who exactly is everybody?
Empire was such a major hit. I mean, it did so well for everyone. I mean, from you to Taraji. I mean, it was a huge ratings success.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Don't you think it made you a household name?
Maybe it made me a motel name.
No, it made you a household
Maybe
name.
a inn.
Were you happy with that project?
Very happy. Very happy.
And, okay. Well, what you created on that project was so, I think, important, particularly when it comes to what you created from, I think, the Black gay male perspective, right? I think, how intentional was that on your part? How intentional was that Lee Daniels' part? Was that something, I think that it really changed because the show was so big, particularly in Black communities.
Yeah.
It really changed, I think, a stereotypical gay perspective that people who were not gay had. So was that intentional? Did you enjoy that? What did your takeaway from that? Or what is your stance on that?
I think looking back, I don't think the effects of it was completely intentional. Mm-hmm. But I do think that I don't really know. I don't know, because I think back to that time and I'm just like, it wasn't that long ago. It was a decade ago. But
okay.
It's
kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it was a decade ago, 10 years ago. So that's actually kind of a long time.
Yeah.
Things change drastically in 5 to 10 years, But I wasn't really thinking about that. I was so glad to have a job.
Yeah.
I was so glad to have not just a job, because I never went without a job. Like, I have not been without a job of some kind since I was 4 years old. And that it certainly was not always in show business. I worked at a nonprofit for 4 years. As a fundraiser, I worked as a waiter for years on end as my second job.
Where were you waiting? Where were you serving tables?
I worked at a place named Gozar on the corner of Robertson and Santa Monica in West Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
And it's like back in the day before Lisa Vanderpump took over that corner.
Got it.
That corner was like the death corner. Whereas like you open up a restaurant, you're staying open for 7 months tops, and then you're gone. Anybody that knows about West Hollywood back then in like the 2010s, the early 2010s, knows about that. And I worked there. I remember...
I don't know about it, but I was here, but that's okay.
It was not a lot of people knew about it. Shout out to Rusty Updegraff, but it was his restaurant, but it closed down very soon. So I worked as a waiter. I worked at Macy's, Banana Republic. I worked at H&M in Times Square for literally, no, it wasn't Times Square, it was Fifth Avenue, for literally 2.5 hours.
Do you pinch yourself now? Because even at 4 years old or 6 years old, you had a on-camera career, but
Sure.
Then to go from that to H&M or busting tables,
I was
or
the
whatever.
coat check guy at Miyagi's on Sunset.
Okay, and now
Remember Miyagi's?
I remember. I've never been there.
It was a sushi restaurant on Sunset.
Yes, I think
it's where like Pink Taco is now.
Okay, no, Pink Taco's have always been Pink Taco, so maybe that's before my time, before I started coming.
Yeah, that was before. That was when you were a youngin.
Yes, exactly. But I used to stay at the Sunset Tower all the time, and Pink Taco was always there. But anyway, well, the Sunset Tower is a major hotel here. It used to be Frank Sinatra's apartment building.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, it used to be an apartment building back in the 50s and 60s. But you have to stay there to know these types of details. But when you
I hate this show.
do you pinch yourself? Because now you're Jussie Smollett. Like now you are, that we said earlier, a household name.
I did not say that I was
I
a
said
household
it,
name.
but you are that.
But I did not say that.
Okay, I said it. So
Okay.
do you pinch yourself knowing that you went from H&M or serving tables to living the dream that you wanted? I think that's every entertainer's dream, is to have a hit show, to be in
Yes,
films,
yes.
to have the opportunity to direct or do what they want. You know, you're in a position now where, you know, if you say I want to make a movie, you can do that, as evidence with your most recent project. So do you pinch yourself, or is it like...
I don't know that I pinch myself for those reasons.
Okay.
But I will say that I do pinch myself and just say thank you, God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to my ancestors. Thank you to, you know, the universe for making this possible, for me still being here, you know, being alive. There are a lot of people that have not been some of our favorites, you know, that have not made it out, you know what I'm saying? Or made it to a special place, you know? And so I'm very grateful, and I don't take it lightly.
Are you a spiritual person?
I would like to think that I am.
What does that mean then?
Meaning that, you know, I think that is debatable based on what you think is a spiritual person. And I think that, you know, for what works for me now, I do think that I have spiritual practices. I have things that I have to do for myself in order to keep myself right and connected. But I also am a human being that forgets sometimes.
Are you a religious person?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in God. I love organized religion because I love what it represents. I love that, you know, we all stand there whatever idea of God that we are praising. I love the fact that we're there at that moment and we're all feeling something collectively. That to me just sends me. That's something that also is that's why I say also that music is like a religious experience. You know?
Certainly meditative.
Absolutely, it's meditative, exactly. So for me, yes, but I don't like what human beings can do, not what necessarily they have to, because everybody has not done that. But I don't like what human beings can do with it and how it can be used for bad.
Religion.
Yes.
How do you find peace?
Oh, I pray all the time now. I was going through something the other day, and I called up my sister Jazz, and I said, hey, and it was like 7 a.m, and we're just weird. Like, we're all early risers. I know that every sibling is up probably around, like, if it's after 4, some sibling is awake. Mm-hmm. And I knew that my sister Jazz is awake, and it was 7 a.m. So I texted her. I was like, hey, call me. And she called me, and I was just like, hey, can you just pray with me? And I just needed her to pray with me. And it wasn't anything big. It wasn't anything dramatic. It was just I needed to pray with her. I could pray by myself, but at that moment, I needed to pray with her. And she prayed with me. And, you know, it really, for me, it sets a tone. I pray a lot. I speak to my father a lot. I speak to my father more now since he's passed than I ever did when he was alive. And, you know, it may make me crazy. I don't know. But I do.
Do you think it makes you crazy, or do you think it makes you more spiritually connected?
I don't know, but it works for me. Mm-hmm. That's what I know for sure, is that I can't really say anything for certain for you. What I know is what works for me. And I never want to be, you know, I have such respect for pastors and preachers, the ones that do it right, so much respect for the love that they show. I'm not a pastor. I just am a person that doesn't mind sharing, you know, what I've gone through and what I know for myself. And if that helps somebody else, then that is good enough for me.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer.
Okay, and I just want to, and I'm going to just ask this, and you can, you know, say what you want, answer however you like.
By the way, we were going to do this whole interview with our sunglasses on. He changed it up. So don't think that I am an asshole, and please keep this in here.
I can't for the first episode. People are going to think I'm crazy. But my question to you is, because you just said everything that you've been through, do you think that the world is ready for a Jussie Smollett project?
I don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck. I'm just asking. I mean, because the show is all about public image. Can I be honest? And
Oh yeah, my bad.
We can edit. We can
I
edit it
care,
out if
you
you
guys.
want.
You guys, I care. I do. I care, BJ.
Well, I mean, but you honestly, you want the movie to sell. You want people
Of
to
course,
see it.
I
It's
want
a
the
great movie.
Here's the thing. Of course, I want the movie
Yeah.
to sell. Of course, I want the movie to do well. Like, what on earth? If I wanted to make a movie and just have mommy watch it, my mom would love it, and she would watch it and stream it. She streamed Lou with Journey. Like, that movie got millions of hours of streaming because of my mother. So she will watch it. But of course I want everybody to see it. And of course, but when I say that, first of all, I'm joking.
I know.
I know that clip will be like and sent, and like people will catch on to that.
We will keep in whatever you want me to keep in.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a
fuck.
fuck. But this is what I do care. I don't give a fuck about what I can't give a fuck about.
Right.
That's what I mean. I mean, for the people that have packed these theaters in every single city that we've gone through, from DC to Atlanta to Miami to Seattle to London to Los Angeles, and now we're going back to Atlanta and doing New York. Those are the people that I make projects for. The people that without a doubt, number one, want to see it, and number two, whatever they think about me, they want to see something good. And I humbly say, that's what you're gonna get when you get something from me.
It's definitely great.
And so I say that with humility. I say that understanding the way that people feel based on a narrative about something that was fed them. I get that. But I can't keep arguing with y'all about that. I can't. And trust me, there are times when I want to, because I get sick of it. I get sick of the bullshit. I get sick of the jokes. I get sick of the names. I get sick of all of that. I'm a human being. I'm a grown-ass man, but it still bothers me. But I think about the kids that literally are called faggot at school. And I think about the kids that are called whatever, that don't understand. I said this before, like why their body feels the certain way that it feels, and they just can't feel the way that they think they're supposed to feel. That's why I do the things that I do. So anything else is just noise. It's just noise. And it annoys me, and I'm tired of it. And it's so played out, which is why I've started to, in my own mind, start to play with it in my mind. Not with the situation or any, because there's nothing to play with about that. But just the idea of what someone thinks about me, I don't know.
Yeah. But you also have to get to a certain age where you don't care about.
Absolutely. And I'll be real with you. I was 36 when all of this happened. And I was not as a grown-ass man, old as hell already. Already getting grades.
36 was old?
Old, grown enough.
Okay.
Grown enough.
As two guys who are in our 40s now, I still feel relatively young.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, you could feel. You could. But as all of y'all need to know, feelings ain't facts.
Okay, so then can I ask you another question? Do you mind?
Question.
So what did it feel like having the support of everybody and then seemingly losing that support?
I wasn't fully aware of how much I lost until I checked in like a year and a half after. I really didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know it was as crazy as it was. I knew listen, I was living in it, right? But I was so connected to what I was going through,
the experience, what you were going through,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
that I couldn't deal with what happened, nor could I deal with everybody's perception of what happened. I couldn't, because I mean, I physically was numb, and I don't know how else to put that into perspective or explain that to anyone. I don't know that I have to explain that anymore to anyone. But what I do know is that I'm appreciative of the people that stuck around, and because they know me. And I'm also appreciative of my community. That's what I'm appreciative of. And so anything else, I don't know what else to say about it. For anybody that has had to prove their own traumas, they know that it's not a fun thing and it's not a pretty thing to constantly have to be like, but that did happen to me, but I didn't have anything to do with it, but I did. It is one of the most exhausting things ever. And so at a certain point, I have to pull the plug. I have to say, I don't know what else to do except to create. This is how I make my living. And it's but let me just say that I don't think that people understand, like, this is how I make my living. The way that I make my living is not by being famous or anything like that. The way that I make my living is by creating. And what I did not sign up for is going from being an artist, and because I started making money off of my art, suddenly I went into being a customer service agent. And as a customer service agent, when I was working retail, when I was working at Macy's, the customer's always right. But the problem with that idea is that the customer is not always right. You are not always right about what you say you want. And I'm not here to give you what you want. I'm here to give you what you need. And what you need from me is the truth. It's not my truth, it's the truth. So anything else in between, I have to, as hard as it is, I have to force myself to move on. I can't say, oh yeah, I'm moving on, and then every single second give somebody what they want around it. I have to move on. And for the people that are willing to move with me, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you that you stick with me. For the people that don't, that's cool too. And I don't say that in a shady way, like, that's cool.
Right.
I'm saying it like, that's cool too. You don't have to like me. I don't like everybody. I don't.
Have you been able to move on?
Not fully, but I'm in the process, and I have to do it. I have to do it in front of people. But for the most part, it's my own journey. It's my own journey that I have to go through, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be for public consumption. It just doesn't. That's the thing to remember when we're talking about image, when we're talking about image elevators. Your image is yours. It's yours. It doesn't belong to anyone else. And they will make you feel as if somehow you now belong to the world. But I don't belong to the world any more than the next man belongs to the world. And I belong to God. I belong to my ancestors. I belong to my mother. I belong to my man. Okay? Okay?
Shut my mouth. Okay, and so...
and scene.
And I also think, I'm going to move on, but I also want to say, it's also like, they always say like the best revenge is looking good, or, things like that. And I feel like, to your point of just creating the work, creating the art, you ask what we need from you. One thing we need from you as an artist is art. We need to be inspired. We need to be uplifted. We need to feel good. And art certainly does that.
And for the people that need that and are looking for that from me, they will find it. And for the people that are not, they won't. And that's okay. You're going to find it somewhere. I pray that you find joy. I really do.
I want to go through I'm going to name some people. I'm going to go through them. And I just want the first thing.
Oh, God.
Yes, just call me BJ. You don't have to call me God. But I'm going to name some people. And this is going to be a little shady, I guess.
Oh, God,
but
BJ.
Don't call me God. You can call me BJ. But
Bethany Jean.
But listen, I want you to
Beulah Juanita.
I want you to just give me the first thing that comes to mind, okay? Okay? It could be one word.
Wait,
it could be a
one
sentence.
word, or
it could
just
be
like
whatever.
Whatever. Okay.
It could be a huge thought. It could be a diatribe if you like. Brashear Gray.
My brother.
Diddy.
No words.
Lee Daniels.
Love.
Dave Chappelle.
Cool.
Donald Trump.
Nothing.
Oh, you're being so not playing. You're not playing fair, but okay.
That's fucked up, BJ.
Those are fucked up?
That's fucked up.
Should I not? Should I take that out?
Do some damn other names, ho.
I said this is going to be a little shady
you
part.
raggedy bitch.
I said this was going to be a shady
Or keep all this in it.
do you want me to keep
Like,
it in? Or
don't
do you want me
edit
to-
this.
Do you want me to keep it in or take it out? Because it's up to you. It's really up to you. I told you it's going to be that. That's the shadiest part of the question.
Here's the thing. Some of those names, I don't know them. And some of those names I care for very deeply. And so 2 of those names I care for very deeply. So I just don't want to talk on anybody.
Okay.
Like,
What is
if
your relationship like with Lee Daniels now? Because he was on the Breakfast Club the other day.
Wait, let's edit this. Ask this right. Okay, a second.
Well, I'm just asking you. He was on Lee Daniels was on the
Okay,
Breakfast
wait.
Club the other day. They asked him about you. He certainly gave his insight. What is your relationship like with him, and what are your thoughts on him?
I love Lee. Lee gave me an opportunity that I'm forever going to be grateful for. That's real. That's the truth. I love Lee.
And you guys spoke last night or yesterday, this morning?
We speak when we speak. I mean, my whole thing is that that's a relationship with someone that I actually care about. So we have a conversation that we can have or that we have to have, and but it's not something that I care to mediate in public. It's just not.
Well, I just want to know, do you guys speak regularly?
We speak when we speak. But again, that's a personal relationship that I may tell you when we're off, but it's not necessarily something that I care to mediate in public. I think that he is, I love him, and he knows that, and that to me is enough for now. The
next portion is the end of the interviews. I'm gonna ask you a few questions that are just takeaways, hopefully for the audience, and they're very easy questions. I think they're just kind of fun questions that I think could be insightful and helpful to anyone listening. What are 3 things you never leave home without?
3 things I never leave home without. Wait, hold on. I gotta think. You might have to ask me that again.
We can come back to it.
Yeah, why I can't think about it?
Well, you know what you never leave home without.
But I have to think, what am I going to say that's good for my image elevator?
It doesn't have to be image elevator. We just want the truth. 3 things you never leave home without. Like,
BJ,
for me,
you know what I don't leave home without.
I know.
You know.
I don't know. I know what I don't leave home without. Like,
What don't you leave home without?
I never leave home without my sunglasses, my keys, and a smile.
God.
Just call me BJ. You don't have to call me Guy. You always do though. What about you?
So annoying.
What are the 3 things you never leave home without?
My phone, my lip stuff. Got to keep your lips moisturized. And my money.
Okay. And I'm wrapping up, I promise, Corey. What is your favorite restaurant to close a deal?
Oh, very good question. But you know what? If I tell you, it's not going to be my favorite restaurant to close the deal no more.
Well, give us your second favorite. Because people like to know, like, where do celebrities go? What's good energy? What's good vibes? Like, I love to go to Mr. Chow, not necessarily to close the deal, but I like to eat there.
That's good. I'm going to try that out as my second place to make up for my first. So my second place is Mr. Chow now.
Okay. What is the difference between style and fashion, in your opinion?
Style is what I have, and it's debatable. Fashion is something I don't have, and that's factual.
Okay. What is the best thing you've ever done for yourself?
Stop looking at myself through the eyes of other people.
What is your go-to accessory?
my my white gold necklace.
Oh, that's real?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm allergic to,
I'm just curious.
I'm allergic to silver.
I know a lot of people wear fake jewelry, so I wasn't sure, but that's lovely. What
It is absolutely real.
I'm
Not
sure
that
it
it
is.
matters.
No,
like,
it doesn't matter, but
'cause
I'm sure it is.
This ain't real.
Right. So that's why I didn't know if your necklace was. Okay, so what motivates you?
Love. Love motivates me. Every single thing that I do.
What inspires you?
Love.
Love inspires you and motivates
Love.
you. Okay. What is your life's purpose?
To spread love. I really mean that. Love is the root of everything. The root, love or the lack of love, you know?
I'm aligned with that. 2 more and then we're done. What is one career decision you regret?
Ooh. One career decision I regret. Let's come back to that. I have to think about that. That's a good question.
Okay. And the final thing is, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that I tried my very, very best to represent love, that I tried my very best to show that we are all more alike than not, and that as human beings, we deserve to be talked to and not talked at. And so I hope that maybe I have just shined a little light or raised a little mirror to people that care to look at my stuff or watch me talk or watch me sing or look at a poem that I've written or a lyric that I've sung and see that it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. That's what Miss Lauryn Hill said, and it's so true that usually the simplest answer is, in fact, the answer. And usually the simplest answer is love.
What is your biggest career regret?
Doing image elevators with BJ Coleman.
It's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to him, actually. But we should keep that in. I like it.
Definitely my biggest. Yup. I regret it.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. I love you, brother. Congratulations. Wait, let me give you some love here.
Oh, goodness.
What I will say is I'm very, very proud of you. Because what you do is you continue to be okay with change. You're okay with expansion and not staying the same. And that is why I think that image elevators is important. I think that that's why it should be around. And I think that that's why it could have a long life, because it is important, because it's so much more than celebrity or influencing or selling a product. You know, what we have the opportunity to do here is when you have any sort of platform whatsoever and someone is listening, you should probably give them something worth hearing and something that's not completely self-serving all the time. Although we know that, you know, we're making money off of this, or we're making this as our livelihood, or whatever it is. So it is, in many ways, is self-serving. But there are ways to serve yourself while also serving others. And I think that I've seen you in action. I've seen you in action way before this run of this film, but particularly during this promo run. I see the way that you love Vivica, but I also see the way that you love human beings. And I think that you are genuinely a good guy. And I think that you have a lot to say, and you also have a lot of, like, you're funny as hell, you shady sometimes, but at the same time, you have a lot of healing energy. I really do believe that. And I think that you want the best, and your intention is good. And for that, I say thank you for having me as your first guest. And I hope that this goes a really fucking long way, because I think that you're great.
Thank you. I think you're amazing, and the feelings are very mutual. And you are the creator of this show, and I will always forever say that. And I'm so grateful for your brilliance and willingness to share it with me and to see me. And I want you to know that I see you. I couldn't have had a better first guest. I couldn't ask for a better friend. I think you're amazing, and I love you.
I love you too. I love you too.
I appreciate it.
Image elevators with BJ Coleman.